Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from rSpace. Wife cheated, and I turned her birthday into genius revenge that she'll never forget. Gather round, boys and girls, because it's time for the story of my cheating ex-wife and how I screwed her. Now, bear with me as this is a bit of a long one, but duck it. So I had a feeling she was cheating as she set off a lot of red flags. Constantly laughing and smiling when texting, saying it was just her mother when I asked. Needing to stay late every night after work. When I'd call in, her coworkers said she left hours ago. When I asked her what was going on, she'd laugh it off and say it was just something they did to each other at the office all the time. The last straw to where I knew something was definitely up was when she went out to get milk at 11:30 at night and didn't come back till 2 in the morning. Now, if there is any words of wisdom I can pass on to others in all my years of experience, it's if you think your significant other is cheating, hire a ducking private investigator. They're freaking good at what they do, and they will get some evidence that really helps in the later divorce. Fast track to her birthday, several months down the road. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why the hell did I wait months before I confronted her, and did it really need to be on her birthday? The answer to the first question is, I wanted as much evidence as possible to hand off to my lawyer, as well as make arrangements to find a new place to live, etc. Answer to your second question is, of course it had to be on her birthday. You see, after asking her what she wanted to do on her birthday this year, she was rather insistent on me going out of town with my friends, as she just had to work anyways and didn't want to be reminded she was aging. So I know something is up, and after finding a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses hidden in my closet, something in me snaps. So I do what any sensible man would have done. I leave and go to my friend's house, pretending like I'm going out of town. While there, I call up her mother, father, sister, and several of her friends. I tell them how I want to give her a big surprise by sneaking into a room with party streamers, kazoos, and a big cake with candles. Sounds fun, right? Oh boy, was it. It's 8:30 in the morning, and I have everyone met just outside our apartment. We all pile in the elevator, about 8 of us in total. Her mother holding the cake, and me reminding everyone to be as quiet as they can be. I put my key in and unlock the door. We all sneak in and make our way down the hall towards the bedroom. Each hold a kazoo, and Mom holding the cake, grinning from ear to ear. Well, as I throw open the door, and we all yell surprise. But the surprise was on us, and there was my wife, cheating with her lover, staring at us wide-eyed and exposed. Mom drops the cake, sister screams, father begins to shout. I pretend like I'm horrified, to which her friends try to push everyone out while yelling at her. Ex-wife, is sobbing and screaming, how could I, while the lover is desperately trying to pull his pants on while running out of the place. Needless to say, it was one of the best birthday presents I have ever given. Update 1. So directly afterwards, her mom was too busy trying to clean off the cake from the ground. The sister literally had to push her out of our apartment to get her to stop. The dad at first tried chasing the guy, but came back to check on everyone. He kind of just looked at me as if, "I'm so sorry," before taking the mom to the car. As for my lovely ex, she literally just blamed everyone in the room. Blamed the parents for coming into our apartment without telling her, the sister for being a witch. Didn't understand that one at all. Hell, she even blamed the friends for not telling her about the surprise. She didn't try to explain herself to me, just called me name after name and threw stuff at me. It was surreal. I had this expectation that she would be clutching me and trying to stop me from leaving, telling me how sorry she was. I thought it would be like the movies. But no, there was the woman I had loved for 2 years, screaming and hitting me, telling me I had ruined her relationship with this other guy. I guess in her mind, she just completely stopped seeing me as her husband, but more as just her roommate. Last I heard, she had moved in with the guy, or at least I think it was him. She had gotten pregnant and most likely has the kid. If they're still together, I really couldn't tell you. At this point, I just hope she found some happiness, even if it's not me being the one who gives it to her. Update 2. What happens next? Well, to be honest, it was funny as hell at first. I tried to disguise my laughing by pretending I was choking up. After so long of being betrayed, I was the one who got to have the last laugh. Plus, since I had hired the private investigator, I was able to prove she was using my money to pay for things for her lover, hotels, dinners, etc. So I did get some compensation for that. Though she still did get half of my life savings, ducking witch. But I was young and just starting out, so the amount I had then is pretty laughable now. So then reality sets in. Your marriage is over. The woman you fell in love with has betrayed you, and the last 2 years of your life or a bit of a waste. In the end, it's not even about the money. I really thought I loved this girl. Why didn't she love me? For the longest time, I wondered what was wrong with me and if anyone would truly be able to love me. Not to mention, I was really close to her dad. Mine left when I was younger and I never spoke to him since then, so hers kind of took me under his wing. Kind of the father I never had. I still call him from time to time, share with him my accomplishments as they come, and even stop by to see him when I get the chance. Divorce is never fun, boys and girls, and take my advice. When you're young and in love, don't be foolish and run into something. Take time to really get to know the other person. Wait 3 to 5 years. Move in together. Duck, I wish someone had just pulled me aside and said, "Man, think about what you're doing. Maybe you should give it some time." Also, another piece of advice. The old saying about you know how a girl really is by how she treats her parents? This is absolutely true. She was a total witch to her parents. That should have been my first red flag. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. The first one goes like this. Hey man, much respect for having to deal with that, and even the bit at the end where you're able to hope she gets her own happiness. I got a lot of satisfaction reading this story, although I wish you never had to deal with that pain in the first place. You handled it like a champ. Some people can only dream about getting that kind of justice. DOP's response. If life was all roses and daisies, that would be one boring life. To be honest, I hope you all have something which is the equivalent of life slapping you across the face. I don't mean this maliciously, but from these experiences we grow into better people. Sometimes we need a little reminder of what pain feels like. Here's a little quote that always stuck with me. You know that pain and guilt can't be taken away with a wave of a magic wand. They're the things we carry with us, the things that make us who we are. If we lose them, we lose ourselves. I don't know if any of you will take any meaning from it, but it's always brought me a little bit of comfort. Anyways, thanks so much for taking the time to read it. I hope it made your day even just a little bit better. Our next comment is, how do you not know for sure what she is up to if you're still chatting to or popping in to see her dad? OP replies, like I said before, I never really had a dad and he kind of became mine. Hell, first time in my life anyone ever really told me they were proud of me came from that man's lips. So when I do see him, we talk about happy things, or if I need advice on something. He knows I don't want to know what she's been up to, and I don't ask. On to the next story. I'm losing my life, 36, because of my wife. Every part of my life is breaking, and I don't even know where to go for help anymore. I can't go to my family anymore because I can't bring them through this anymore. I can't go to my coworkers because my personal issues are a complete embarrassment. I don't have any friends whatsoever because marriage has consumed my life. I'm so embarrassed because I've been telling people for 4 years that I want a divorce, but it's so hard on the inside. My marriage is the epicenter of this disaster, and everything on the edges are starting to fall apart. I tried getting a divorce 4 years ago, but my wife is codependent emotionally and completely dependent on me financially. The closer I've been to leaving, the more extreme her behavior has been, to the point of stalking, threatening my life and hers, threatening taking my daughter from me, getting past reception and security, and getting to me at work. She has taken a fall in front of my stepdaughter and called the police on me. She opened a credit card and maxed out $10,000. She ripped my phone out of my hand and called the police on me when I had to hold her arm and get it back. She called the police at least 4 other times when we got into arguments. Worst of all, she called the police recently and put me in jail for terrorizing. I have to fight felony charges now. There is no case, but the law is the law, and there's a gigantic freaking process. I don't feel under her control anymore because this has hit me in the face like a rock. But the stress is truly paralyzing me. I spent most of my time doing things just to cope. I'm making little to no progress actually getting things done. I'm so stressed about work tomorrow I can't sleep. But you know what? I have a divorce attorney, and I have bipolar and FMLA, and I will be looking for a new job when this is all said and done anyway. I promise myself and to anyone reading this that in the morning, I'm going to take my daughter to daycare and finally get all the information to the lawyer that she needs to end my marriage once and for all. No more lies, no more false promises, no more broken commitments, no more dysfunctional parenting, no more debt, no more fear, no more hatred. I will end this. It gets done tomorrow. Good update. Charges dropped, wife served. I was falsely accused 6 months ago and put in jail on a felony charge. It took the government all this time to get around to my case. I have been sitting on divorce papers all this time. Because she's so unpredictable when emotional, I don't want her to threaten me legally, which she almost did, for leverage in the divorce. I'm so happy that she was served. She's gone off the wall batshit crazy like many times before, but I'm not answering her 50 calls per day or hundreds of text messages. I'm not listening to her threats or insults. I'm not listening to her begs for mercy and financial support. I'm not listening to her using our daughter as leverage and power over me. It's been 4 days now and she's refusing to let me see my daughter. I know that she doesn't have the legal power to make that decision, but until someone with authority steps in, there's nothing I can do. It's pointless to argue with her, and I'm not going to confront her in person because she will happily send me back to jail. I spent all day alone, and it's finally time to take my life back. I need to stop drinking and start taking care of myself. I need to get my life organized again for the sake of my daughter. She deserves it. Laying in bed, I feel so unbelievably terrible right now. I miss my daughter. Our comment comes from Rough Area 4765. I too was falsely accused, thrown out of my house, and forced to be homeless and unable to see or contact my kids for 3 weeks, and then only allowed 4 hours every other Saturday. That was September of 2020. Hundreds of thousands of dollars later, my divorce wrapped up in record speed by June of 2021. All her accusations turned out to be pure BS, and even her attorney advised her to settle the case as the judge won't look favorably on mothers that withhold children as a weapon of punishment. Today, on Thanksgiving, I am laying in bed typing this with my youngest on his iPad next to me. My oldest is in his room, inside the marital home that I was awarded in the settlement. She is off in another state for the holidays, getting her back blown by Strange. I am happier, have shared custody of my kids, and while it was expensive, the divorce is done. The false police report is being handled by criminal court, and she won't drop the charges, so we are going to court in 2022. I am ready for it, as her story has more holes than a Swiss cheese platter. Some exes can get very nasty to get leverage during the divorce. Being Mr. Nice Guy won't do you any good. Go scorched earth to prove her wrong. Yes, it wastes more money this way. F it. My kids were the hill I was ready to die on. Don't give up. It gets worse and much worse, where you feel hopeless and completely lost. Go gray rock with your ex. If she pushes your buttons, just respond with F off. It gets better. Good luck.